Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Liverpool Connection podcast. This is PubChat, and we are glad to be together with Julian and Glenn and me, El Presidente. Major topic just coming out on the news is FSG for sale. It's caught the Twitterverse by storm, Facebook, social media, everybody's talking about it. You know, all the FSG out. People are happy about it, you know, and let's just kind of rewind. So Ornstein from The Athletic comes out with an article saying that FSG is for sale. FSG puts out a statement saying that they're always looking at offers and maybe looking at partners to come in and invest. So what are we looking at, Julian?
So there's a couple of things here. There's a bit of confusion going on as well as to exactly what is happening here. And we're recording this on Wednesday, just after the League Cup game against Derby, and Klopp, after the game, said from his understanding, we're looking at investors, right? Now that might be Klopp being Klopp and being very pragmatic about the entire thing. But there's still, at the moment, there hasn't been an official statement from FSG saying, you know, we are putting the club up for sale. Do I expect them to do that? Probably not. They probably wouldn't do that. Is this a surprise? Probably not. You know, it's probably been on the cards for a while. I think there was talk about them looking at selling a couple of years ago, and we had groups in the Middle East that were interested, which is on record. They were interested, and there was a bid that happened as well that was turned down. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the timing is, you know, before the World Cup, this big break, it makes sense as well. It's hard to say. Everyone's guessing at the moment. No one knows exactly what's going on, as they probably shouldn't. I mean, the people that know what's going on, the last thing they're going to do is let out all of those details. My guess is, if they are, and let's remember, this was published in the Boston Globe as well, right? And that's owned by Henry, right? So my guess is it's probably further along than what we think, and there probably is one group, country interested. That's very likely to happen, but at the moment, hard to say. Glenn, thoughts?
I don't know, really. I think the Chelsea thing has been the Chelsea thing has been a big thing for them. I think seeing how much Chelsea went for, and obviously that was quite a rushed sort of sale, and I wonder if that's just made them think, okay, this could be our moment now. They've, you know, there's always been loads of talk about FFP and stuff like that, and you know, they've just thought themselves, like, we literally can't compete with City. We're seeing what Chelsea are doing. This might be the time now to sell up, and from their point of view, you sort of can't really blame them. I'm talking from a total business point of view here. Like, if you're going to buy, the bought us, you know, for a couple of $100 million really, and then you're gonna sell it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 billion or whatever it is. From their point of view, it sort of makes sense. I'm a bit petrified about it, though, to be honest. I am a bit worried about it.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Because it's the unknown, right? We've been. And just to go back to your point, the Chelsea sale, of course, made, you know, probably a lot of owners look and think, oh, okay. You combine that with the Super League failure as well, then it's probably now's the time maybe to sell and get out and make the money from what they paid for it, which is what, 300 million.
Right.
It's going to be, you know, one hell of a profit. And
but let's go back a little bit. You know, obviously, there's a couple of years ago there was an offer to buy the club, and FSG said no. You know, we're in here for the long term. A couple of weeks ago, they've come out and said, hey, we're here for the long term, right? And then the club statement today is saying, hey, we've known about these things that we've been told about this. But I think one of the things that is really causing a lot of ambiguity of the whole situation is that FSG has not come out and said, no, we are not for sale. Point blank, right? Their statement is like, we're always looking at investors. You know, if there's a reasonable offer, we might consider it. We might bring on a partner, you know, kind of like how the Redbird did a couple of years ago, you know, bringing in all that cash infusion into the club. And so it just really depends on what side you're going to believe. You know, obviously there's stuff going in the background, you know, having, you know, Morgan Stanley, you know, doing you know, sells decks for people to look at. But, you know, I've always, in my opinion, you always do that when you're wanting to reevaluate how much your business costs, so that when when an investor comes and say, hey, we would like X percentage of this, we'll give you this much money, you know, you have to know how much your business is worth to have a dollar amount, right? So I think some of that is normal, but I think that like you said, I think this is a little bit further along where they're actually, people are serious now. You know, throughout the day today, you've seen so many different names being associated with offering or wanting to offer and bid on Liverpool Football Club.
And let's be clear on that, on one of your points there as well. Like, the club they're businessmen, right? This is not a toy. It's not a plaything like the owners of Newcastle, Man City, right? They're not there to make money. FSG are there to make money, so they're never, ever, ever, ever going to say that we're not for sale. We've always been for sale. There's always a price, always with us. I would guess it's further along than what we know, and as it should be. I mean, a lot of this stuff is not going to be leaked. It's impossible to say. I wouldn't be surprised if Redbird were interested, or I mean, they took on 11%, was it only last year? Not forgetting their main guy used to be the main guy at Morgan Stanley as well. Plus, if Redbird took over, that would allow FSG to hold stocks. That would likely happen as well. So that could happen. That could be a thing. But
are you a policeman?
It's hard because FSG. it's just, like, it's hard to because you're entering this unknown, right? FSG have been steady, right? I've always said they've done a solid job, right? They've done our finances are in good shape. The stadium's looking great. The training ground's looking, you know, it's fantastic. We've won every trophy that you can win. So it's very hard to criticize FSG for that. It is easy to criticize FSG for not spending more out of their own pocket, because essentially everything that has been paid for has been profits from Liverpool themselves, from what we have done through Klopp, etc. They haven't gone. When you win a title, right? When you win a league title, or when you win a major trophy, you need to go that next step. You need to say, okay, hey, right now we've won this, we need to spend this to go to the next level, and we haven't done that, to me. And we haven't taken that gamble. And Klopp alluded to that at the beginning of the season. If you remember, he said he wished that we gambled a little bit more in the transfer market, right? But we don't. We sign players. You have, you know, a list of 1, 2, 3 players, and we only stick to them. We don't really take risks. So it's hard to say if I'm happy or not. And I think this speaks to the majority of Liverpool fans, because you're entering this unknown. Who knows what's going to happen next? And that gets into the biggest question of morals and how people would feel if the country of Dubai owned us, or the cousin of the owner of Manchester City. How do you feel about that, Steve Wilson? Because I know you had some feelings on it.
I do have some feelings, and what my argument has been since this news broke is that I would not want to be owned by an entity like that, like Man City or Newcastle. I am not from Liverpool, obviously, by my accent, you know that. Really? But I think I understand the culture there and the people there enough that, and the history of the club. I understand the history of the club enough that that type of owner doesn't really coincide with the culture and the history of Liverpool proper, right? So we've gone these years slating Man City for just buying whatever. And then it just boggles my mind to see people saying, yeah, we want to be that. After years of saying that was not good for the game, now all of a sudden, if you want FSG out and that's the first person you turn to is somebody that's like Man City or the Saudi Arabia fund that's running Newcastle. So I'm still trying to get my head around it. I don't know if I would be comfortable with that type of ownership.
Glenn?
No, not a chance. Not for just even forgetting all the human rights and all that bollocks. Just not for me. Even when Chelsea came on the scene in 2003, there's just something didn't seem right about it. Just having all this money just pumped into you. I don't know. And also, who's to say that you could have all the money? You could have all the money. Not necessarily mean that you're gonna. One thing you could say about City is they actually do have a really good structure. And they have a really always a a lot of the things they've done really well. They've had loads of money. They've always had loads of money. They had loads of money under Pellegrini. They had loads of money under Mancini. I know they won the league, but you know what I mean. It doesn't necessarily. It massively helps, of course it does. But just look at Man United. They've got absolute buckets of money, haven't they? They've spent about 200 million in the summer. So it's not necessarily that for me. I don't think there is an ideal owner. I don't think there is. Yeah. But from my point of view, it's FSG that just, like you say before, gamble a little bit more and maybe take a few more risks. That for me is the ideal owner. Yeah. And I don't really want to get into this whole, FSG out type of thing. But for me is, if you look at any owner in the Premier League, who would you swap FSG for? And I'm talking I'm talking West Ham even, with the absolute outrage they had over the stadium. I'm talking Everton with the murder that's gone on over there, and they've had absolute shitloads of money as well. Just poorly ran. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even the top 2-3 clubs, Man United's and Chelsea's and Tottenham's. So I don't really know what people are kicking off so much about.
Here it is, Glenn. I think people have seen our Liverpool struggle this season, overlooking the amount of injuries that we've had, right? And just blaming the fact that, we didn't buy a midfielder on those struggles, even though there's been a ton of injuries. And then extrapolating this struggle for these 14 games and forgetting about the 7 years of success that we've had and saying we can't compete with City. We've been competing with City. We've lost the title twice by 1 point. We've won the Champions League once, been in 2 other finals. They haven't gotten close to that. Maybe they have to spend to compete with us. Those other teams at Everton and Man U and Arsenal and West Ham, they have to spend to compete with us. I mean, don't say we can't compete when we've went for the quad last season. We've won trophies. So this thing that we need somebody that will just spend tons and tons of money to compete. I don't buy that argument.
No, it's all the bollocks. I mean, I say that the proof is there. Our 2 biggest rivals, the amount of money they've spent, and they're absolute shambles of football clubs. So you can see that right there. But yeah, like I said before, I don't think there is an ideal owner. I don't think there's an ideal ownership. But for me, it would be FSG that, let's be honest, they've always been about making money. They always have.
Always.
But I don't know what billionaire isn't. So if it's just about them maybe making a few more gambles here and there. But also, one thing I'd say to everyone is, right, if somebody would have told you 5 years ago that Liverpool would have spent 300,000 a week on Mohamed Salah, they'd have been like, fucking no chance. No chance. So there is things that they don't get credited for as well.
It depends what you want your football and your football club to do, right? There is ideal owners out there, but the ideal owners can't afford it.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, and this is what people need to understand, morals and football left a long time ago. If you support any team in the top 10, 15 or a Premier League, then your morals were gone. All you have to do is look at the sponsors, look at Nike from Nike. I mean, look at our sponsor, Standard Chartered. Just Google them and have a look at all the different lawsuits they've been in over the past 10 years, right? So I find it hard with the moral argument, because if you're, the World Cup's going ahead, everyone's going to watch it, right? And it will soon be forgotten. It's a matter of where you want to compete. Do you want to be up there with the Man City, with the Newcastle, etc.? Where is football going, right? FSG have done, I've always said it, they've done a solid job. You can't complain whatsoever with winning everything. Of course, Jurgen Klopp is a huge, massive, ginormous factor in that. I wanted FSG to take that next level, but it shows they're businessmen, which is why they're not necessarily, they're interested in the success of the team to a certain point, right? Because the team needs to be successful for the money to come in. If the team's not successful, but being successful these days doesn't necessarily mean winning the league, right? It's about marketing, right? It's about sponsors. So it depends what you want your football to be, honestly. I mean, if the King of Dubai or the Prince of Dubai takes it over, or the cousin of Man City, then I guarantee you there's going to be a split at the beginning of, you're going to get a lot of people saying, oh, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to get people that want the money. And then if it's successful, people will soon change their minds. But I don't get the argument at all that if we have this particular type of owner, I can't support Liverpool anymore. That makes no sense, because we support the club, right? The owners change, managers change, players change, the tea lady changes, the guy sells, or the woman, or whoever sells the program changes, and you stick with it. Because the politics of owners, managers that change all the time. But this is the generation we're in as well. We're not talking like 10, 20, 30 years ago. This is happening all around us, and it's especially happening within football. Money talks, and slowly but surely we're seeing more and more of this happen to the game. It's changed beyond belief, and it's part of the game. And it's either I would not be surprised if that happened, but I also would not be surprised if it stays within American ownership as well, because that's been spoken about, how the Premier League is a huge opportunity as well. So I would not be surprised. I don't care. I want the team to be successful, right? Number one, I want us to do, yes, I want to do it the right way. Of course you do, right? But unfortunately, the world and the football environment we're in at the moment, that might not happen.
Well, I would tell you, the way we've competed with Man City is the only reason why there just hasn't been an arms race. Because let's just take this hypothetical scenario that Liverpool does get bought out by the DIC group, right?
Yeah.
The Dubai group. Now you have three teams that are just practically will print money. And then
I guess it's better than one team, makes it more competitive, right?
Well, that doesn't make it more competitive. Then you have three teams that are right, have separated themselves. So what's to stop if they, this ownership group spends 200 million on transfers? What's going to stop Saudi Arabia from then saying, okay, we're going to spend 400 million? City spend 300 million. Well, it doesn't stop. All it's going to do is create that chasm between those top three and then now you're only fighting for one Champions League spot, right? So all these people that are, are talking about the competitive nature of the Premier League. You've lost it then.
Well, it's already been. I mean, since Man City, it's been lost. I mean, just look at the
no, but
the
it
title
hasn't
past
been
6,
because
7
Liverpool
years.
has competed doing it our
We
way.
have, yeah,
Right.
due to the bloody fantastic manager in Jurgen Klopp and some great signings and some great young players coming through. It has happened, but
right. And
but
that's what
the
I'm
fact
saying.
of the
You don't
matter
have
is,
it
City
doesn't
have
have
won
to be
it
that way.
consistently since the money came in, and that's not going to change.
Yeah,
that's not going to change.
I'd also say,
Unfortunately.
Go on.
But I'll say that in a way, because the Premier League, it's a season, right? The Champions League, in a way, really tells who is the top team, because you can win the Champions League without that money. And it showed by the failings of PSG, of Manchester City, right? It showed time and time again that to win the Champions League, though, you've really got to be a good manager, and you've got to be a good manager tactically. Where in the individual leagues, and you look at the leagues throughout Europe, freaking dominated normally by one or two teams, the majority of them. But the Champions League is a bit more 100% down to the manager, because I think it takes a lot more coaching ability tactically to win that. But regarding FSG, I think they've been solid. I think I would have wanted them to take that gamble, but they're businessmen, and if you're a businessman, you tend to stay. You tend, if the money's coming in, then you might not want to put too much out there. So.
Yeah, I think there's a different. It's probably another chat really about FSG and their whole time with us. But
yeah,
moving slightly on, because I think it is definitely something we need to have a bigger chat about. Maybe down the pub with 3 or 4 pints. But moving on, how do you think, as we watch this now in the 10th of November or whatever it is, how do we think it's going to develop, and do you think Liverpool will have new owners by next May or May?
I think we'll have new owners by January.
Yeah, but you're a knob. Come on.
Why? I mean, it feels
5
like
weeks.
it feels like perfect timing to release this before like the freaking gap break's going to happen. This was all planned.
I
would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if this is further along than we expect.
I couldn't take that.
Yeah, Klopp in his press conference today, he kind of alluded to that if something happens, he's not going anywhere.
Yep.
He signed a contract. He will honor a contract. But then he, at the end, goes, but I think they're just looking at investors, right? So he's kind of hedging his bets, right? As he normally does when he's talking about FSG. Let's, and it's so funny when Pep Linder said something, everybody's like, oh, he's just a yes man. Like, yeah, that's what you do when somebody, you work for somebody, you protect the company, while you're employed, you circle the wagons and you put your PR face on, right? What
do you really think? Sorry, Steve.
Go ahead.
Julian, you really think that by January Liverpool will have new owners? That just seems so.
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. I think the timing of this feels a little bit too perfect to me for when this came out. So I mean, what is it? November the 9th? In 2 months, just under. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was done by January the 1st. I really wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't know why I mean, it's not the most craziest of shouts, to be fair, but so I apologise for your knob. But I always feel like
it's
I don't
fine.
know
We
why,
called you far worse, King Joffrey.
No, I know you have. I don't know why. I always feel like these things just take ages and ages and ages. Like
they do take. The thing is, they do take ages, right? They do take ages, but normally we're the last ones to find out. This stuff happens in the background. This takes months. It's like a signing. A signing just doesn't fucking just happen. It can take a year. It can take 2 years. These signings.
Yeah, well, that's what I was sort of going with. Yeah, but I don't think I could. I am genuinely really worried about it. about
everyone
having
should
new
be.
owners.
Yeah.
I'm not like, pardon?
Yeah, everyone should be. It could
No,
be going into the unknown. Who knows?
There's tons of people not worried about it. They want FSG to leave tomorrow, so they're not worried. They're like, all they're thinking about is winning the transfer window trophy. You know, every window. That's all they're worried about. They don't care. They don't care about any of the stuff. They think somebody should just write an open check.
FSG have done good, but slowly, it's almost like every Christmas you get, the first Christmas you got, you're younger and you got a nice pair of socks and you're happy with it. And then with every Christmas that passes, you get another pair of socks and then you get another pair of socks and they never improve, right? And then they have the better quality socks. They're that same pair of socks. And that's what we need. We need that next level. And that's, I think, why Liverpool fans are just kind of like, we should have done that. Because they should have taken
a risk. Shocking analogy.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible. Your socks are horrible. Aren't you supposed to call them stockings anyway?
But stockings? What the hell are you talking about?
Hey,
who calls them stockings?
Yeah, but you're coming off as and we're entitled to win every year. That's what everybody's out there.
Didn't say we're entitled. I said
we're not.
We're not. Nobody is entitled, but
we're getting socks every year.
The expectation was, after doing so well in the Champions League and the league, that we should have taken that next step, and we didn't.
But mate, last year we nearly won every fucking thing. Yeah. Last year we nearly won everything.
But you could see that team as an aging midfield, especially, and we didn't invest in that midfield, and we knew it from the start. We knew it last season as well.
That's not getting socks at Christmas, then, is it? That's getting a PlayStation and an Xbox.
No, it's getting the same socks, or it's wanting a PlayStation 4 and sticking with a PlayStation 1.
FSG, it's documented. FSG was very close to signing Tchouameni, right? To Tchouameni, 100 million, whatever. You can't say that they didn't have the money to do that. They could have bought a brand new pair of socks that lit up, but he decided to go to Madrid after Mbappe decided to stay in PSG.
Didn't. And the fact is we didn't. And I'm not changing my fact. FSG have done a solid job, but they are not the owners to take us to the next level, whatever that is. And the next level
fucking
is
stupid.
competing.
It's just a stupid. It's a stupid statement.
It's not stupid whatsoever.
He's just trying to wind us up. He's just trying to wind us up.
It is not stupid whatsoever.
You're just trying to wind us up by saying that. How can you say that they're not the owners to make us? What's the next level then? Because last year we nearly won 4 fucking trophies. We're a week away from winning 4 trophies.
Right,
so
and we didn't.
What's the next level?
And we didn't. So how do you?
No one will.
We want to go forward.
No one will ever win 4 trophies. Ever.
Never say ever. We were that close to doing it last season. And it's making that next level, next jump up. And we're going to fucking stupid. Are FSG the ones that can do that? I don't think they are, and that's why they're selling. Because I don't think they can take their next jump. It's not stupid.
But it is stupid. No, it is. How can you compare that? Last year we nearly won 4 trophies, and you're saying, well, they might not be the ones to take us to the next level. What is the next level then?
Well, they might not be. I don't think FSG are the ones that can take us to that next level. I don't think they are. Which is why they're selling. If they thought they could, they would stay, but they're selling. And who knows what we get next? It could be good, it could be bad.
But that's the problem, isn't it?
Right? That's the problem, yeah.
That is the problem. Absolutely,
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
We're going to talk a lot more about this. Things could change tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll do another one on this definitely. And I think we'll... get comments. We want comments. What do you think?
No, we'll tell you what we do.
Have FSG done?
We'll do a thing for Julian and GoFundMe because he just keeps getting socks at Christmas every year. Apparently, Jesus Christ! Imagine getting.
Hey, if you put those socks on. Hey,
but then I got a new boss and I got.
You know what? If you put those socks on your hands, they're called mittens.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
God.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're not talking about shite. What's going on?
Oh, Wilson.
Yeah, but hey, to be serious for a second though, this is obviously a very polarizing topic. Whether between us three or out there in the Twitterverse, on social media, even at some of our own members in our group, it's very polarizing. Some people are FSG out, other people are like, who are you gonna get? Other people are like, we love FSG, that we know who they are, which is sometimes better than not knowing the next person, right? And So, but like you said, Julian, this story is just starting, and there'll be more to it. So,
There'll
we'll
be
keep.
more every day. Who knows who's going to be? I saw Conor McGregor wants to take us as well. So who knows what's going to
I
be
saw
next.
Jake Paul today
Hilarious.
wanted to buy it.
Microsoft, the former Microsoft guy as well. It's ridiculous.
They couldn't afford the fucking training pitch. Those absolute bellends.
Yeah. There's a dentist or an orthodontist in Austin called Blair. He's interested as well. There's some bloke that likes Christmas lights called Dave in Austin. Who knows who's going to take us over? It's ridiculous. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to change every single day, but it's interesting, right? So
that's right. Well,
cool.
Thanks again for everybody who's a subscriber. Please share it with your friends. We're going to keep talking about this story and about our Reds as we continue through the season. So till the next time, cheers.